Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Join me this week. My special guest is Ruth Houston. She is a smart eating expert. And before the interview, I also just want to remind everyone that I will be doing a 4-course Italian-themed wine pairing dinner. I will be actually preparing the 4 courses and making a presentation with a wine pairing at Ridgewood Winery in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania. You know, they have a lot of great award-winning wines there. So I'll be pairing some dishes with 4 of their wines. And that event will be on Sunday, March 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. And you can register on eventbrite.com. And for my podcast listeners, if you register on Eventbrite and use the code food and wine with a number 5, you will get a special discount on your price of admission. Registration is limited, so register as soon as you can. And if you have any questions about the event, you can always email me at info@marialiberati.com. I also have another exciting announcement. The Maria Liberati Show will be broadcasting live from the Philitalia International Biannual Convention, and that will be on April 30th at the Overbrook Country Club in Villanova, Pennsylvania. Actually, the Overbrook Golf Club in Villanova, Pennsylvania. So it's their biannual convention. You know, Philitalia is an organization that promotes Italian culture and heritage throughout the world. So they will be having this convention for many reasons, but they will also be choosing the leaders, their board of directors actually, for the 2023-2025 years for Philitalia International. And I will get to interview, I'll be doing live broadcasts throughout the day at the event, and there will be some great food there also. So if you'd like to attend, I don't think everyone can vote for the board of directors. That will be only for members of Philitalia, but you can attend and you can meet everyone that's involved with the organization. Some lots and lots of people in the business community, and I will be interviewing them, doing live interviews all day. So if you can't make it to the interview, again, it's on April 30th. So we'll be doing interviews all day with everyone involved with Philitalia and everyone that is out there. So please join us. That's April 30th, and you can find out more about the event if you go to the Philitalia website, and you'll find out more about this event coming up on April 30th. And again, if you would like to, if you have any questions or, questions about the event or attending the event, please email me also at info@marialiberati.com. So hope to see you there, or hope you'll be listening to the interviews I will be doing lots of interviews with some very, very interesting and prominent people that are involved in this wonderful organization that promotes the Italian language and culture. And they have an incredible presence, not only in the United States, but also in Italy. If you'd like to find out more, just go to the Philitalia, that's Philitalia website, and you can find out more about this great organization. Yes, so today we have a special guest, Ruth Houston. Ruth is going to tell us a little bit about her background, but she's going to be talking about this interesting new book that she has coming out, and she's an Eat Smart expert. Her book is called Eat Smart, Lose Weight, and it's a topic kind of dear and near to my heart because, as I was telling Ruth, I was a model for many years, and I had to figure out how to really do that without doing any kind of crazy dieting or things that would really
hurt my health. So I had to stay healthy, but eat smart. Ruth, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So Ruth, tell us, I know you were telling me before we started recording, you were an editor for, is it Black Elegance magazine or a
Black
columnist?
Elegance Magazine. For 10 years, I was fashion editor for Black Elegance
Wow.
Magazine.
Oh,
Actually, I
wow.
held the dual position of fashion editor and special projects editor. So that encompassed the food, the travel writing,
Uh-huh.
fitness, and all those lifestyle topics. I'm basically a
Yes.
lifestyle journalist.
Yes. Wow.
And
So tell us how you got the idea or to do this Eat Smart and Lose Weight concept.
well, I was going to do an updated version of an article that I wrote many years ago
Uh-huh.
called Diet Strategies That Work. And I
Uh-huh.
thought that I would just kind of research what was done, the latest research that was being done about obesity and diet and weight loss and the whole bit. And there was so much new information as I started gathering facts and researching and checking the various respected medical journals, Journal of American Medical Association,
Mm-hmm.
all of those types of publications, I was amazed. And most of all, I was amazed at all of the many things tested,
Mm-hmm.
researched,
Uh-huh.
tried and true things that people can do to lose weight that have absolutely nothing to do with going on a diet or exercising for hours in the gym.
Yes.
And
Wow.
these are things
Uh-huh.
that the weight loss industry knows, but I like to say they're things that the weight loss industry does not want the public to know and hopes
Yeah.
that they'll never find out. Because after all, we're talking about an industry, diet and weight loss, that's predicted to reach, I think it's like $246 billion
Oh
in
my goodness.
2022. Now, if you can lose weight without their products and services, certainly
Yes.
not going to be very happy about that. So
About that.
while they are well aware of these little tricks, tips, tactics, and techniques, they have no vested interest in publicizing them
Mm.
because it's contrary to making a profit for them.
Yes, yes. And you don't need these products that really probably don't do anything anyway, but just make people, wealthy from
True.
selling them. So, but
Well, and
I
we've
know,
been brainwashed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. Yes, it was very interesting. Go
We've
ahead,
been
tell.
brainwashed, Maria, to think that by the diet and weight loss industry to believe all these things that really aren't true. That weight loss should be hard, that it should involve counting calories, that starving yourself,
Yes.
skipping dessert, giving up your favorite foods, restricting whole categories of food.
Huh?
None of those things are really necessary to lose weight.
Wow, wow, so interesting. So I know there were two things, Ruth, that you wanted to really talk about that because I had asked if you could give us some tips and ideas. So the two things I know, one was eating out tips, because you were saying people think they want to know how, or they can't go out and eat Italian if they want to lose weight, right? They
That's
think they
true.
can't.
They think that, and they're so wrong. I mean, there's so many little things. There's so many things. I mean, if you just look at a menu with knowledge of what to look for,
Uh-huh.
there are lots of weight-friendly options to choose from.
Uh-huh.
You talk if you start with a nice veggie-rich broth-based minestrone soup.
Uh-huh.
That's excellent for losing weight, starting your meal with a broth-based soup. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got a nice minestrone soup there. If you want pizza, you can have a thin crust pizza. You don't have to deny yourself. If you want pasta, people think, oh, I can't have pasta. I can't have pasta. You can have marinara sauce. There's red or white clam sauce. There are other dishes, Maria. I know
Yes.
you're well, very
No,
familiar with.
but I'm glad you're telling. Go ahead. Yes, definitely. Tell people.
There's no reason to, a nice wine-based sauce. There's no reason to deny yourself Italian food if you're trying to lose weight.
Yes. And tell
Absolutely
us
no
about, I was
reason.
just going to say, I specifically started with the Italian because that's kind of my based mostly, but tell us about other foods and other tips for eating out, because obviously we don't always eat out Italian.
True. Well, there are general things that would apply to any restaurant. First of all, normally you sit down and the first thing you get is a bread basket.
Right.
Bypass that bread basket.
Yes.
You can eat a whole meal's worth of calories from the bread basket before you even start choosing from the menu. So just skip that unless you're really a bread fanatic. Okay, then so you have a piece of bread. Don't go overboard with it.
Right, right.
Many times restaurants serve, it's a pet peeve of mine, serve food on these huge plates the size of hubcaps.
Yes.
And one of the greatest tips for losing weight is to use a smaller plate. If you think about it, say we've got this much food.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it on a salad plate, that plate's going to look full.
Uh-huh.
But if you put that same amount of food on a large 14-inch dinner plate, now you've got all this extra space around it. Your brain is already thinking, oh, this is not enough food. Whereas that same amount on a small, and you're automatically thinking, well, I'm going to have seconds. This isn't going to be enough.
Right.
So you're already programmed to eat more before you even take the first bite.
Yes.
But if you've got that food on a smaller plate, it looks like a lot. And now your brain is thinking, this is a lot of food. Maybe I might not even be able to eat it all.
Uh-huh.
So the brain is programmed to eat a full plate of food, but the brain doesn't care whether that's a salad plate that's full or whether it's a huge dinner plate that's full. It's programmed to eat a full plate of food. And be satisfied.
Yes.
The other thing is that we want to speed eat. We want to rush through our food. You know, Americans tend to do that. We're going to eat very fast, speed eating. Speed eating leads to overeating. It takes your stomach at least 20 minutes to let your brain know that you're full. So you want to eat slowly. You want to make your meal last at least 20 minutes. You know, Maria, to me and to many others, eating is one of life's pleasures. You can't enjoy your food if you're sitting there obsessing about, oh, how many calories? And if I eat this, I might gain 2 extra pounds. You can't enjoy your food. You can't enjoy your food if you're speed eating. You want to slow down, take your time, make your meal. You get more enjoyment out of your food. When you enjoy your food, you won't need to eat as much because you will be satisfied with a smaller amount. The other thing is that we rush through food and we don't even, you know, Maria, you're a chef, okay? Now, chefs put great effort into the plating of a dish.
Yes.
That part of the enjoyment is of eating is to admire the plating, the way the food is arranged on the plate. That enhances your enjoyment of the food. You don't want to just dig right in without even taking time to look at how the food's very artfully arranged on the plate. Admire it. It'll add to your enjoyment of the food.
Exactly. Wow, all great tips. You know, one of my tips that I would have to throw in, and you might even have this in your book, I started realizing most restaurants serve these, just like you were saying, these gigantic portions. And it's like, you know, I don't even want to be in front of that big of a plate to be tempted to eat that much. So you know what I do a lot of times? I go to the appetizer menu and I'll order something. If there's enough of a choice there, I'll order, say, maybe 1 or 2 appetizers. And that's usually really enough of a portion.
Exactly. Enough for a whole meal. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
The other thing you can do is that, and that is one of the tips in the book. One of the other things you can do is that if you know you're in a place that's known for gigantic, supersized portions of food, have them wrap half to go before they even bring it to the table.
That's a good idea.
You're not looking at all that food and you're and figuring out how you're going to eat it, and you know, and you've still got room for dessert.
Yes, that's great. That's all great ideas. So, you know, because I know I hear this all the time. People say, "Oh, I'm on a diet. I can't go out to eat." You can. It's just you have to think about really, you know, putting these tips into play. Very easy tips. So I know the other chapter from your book that you were going to give us tips on is the kitchen tricks. You told me there were lots of tricks in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
Easy tricks for to keep your weight healthy.
The way your kitchen is set up can either support or sabotage your weight loss efforts. One study found that obese people, when in comparison to those who of normal weight or slim, tended to have more food sitting out on the counter. Not only did they have more things sitting on the counter, it wasn't weight-friendly food. They had you want to think in terms of what's weight-friendly. We want, when we're hungry, we tend to eat what's readily available, what's easily accessible.
Yes.
So now if you've got a cookie jar, a giant cookie jar sitting there, you're going to eat cookies. If you've got a fruit bowl sitting there, then you'll have a piece of fruit, a couple of pieces of fruit.
Yes.
The other thing, where do you keep your weight-friendly food? Is it hidden in the refrigerator behind a carton of milk and, you know, the cake you bought yesterday and all the other pound-producing food? Or is it front and center so that as soon as you open your refrigerator, that's what you see? Veggie sticks, fruit, you know, things that are weight-friendly.
Right.
Well, how are your cabinets? How's your pantry arranged? All those people, it's very easy to say, well, just don't buy it and don't have it in the house. That's not always realistic. You may have other family members that want to eat those things. So what do? How do you store them? Where do you put them so that they support your weight loss goals? Turn them around backwards. So that when you open the cabinet or the refrigerator, you're not looking at that tempting picture of the food. What you're seeing is the nutrition panel, which will make you stop and think, well, no, maybe I should have something else instead of this. So, you know, things like that. There's just so much that we can do when we're cooking food, for example. Of course, we want to taste the food to make sure that it's seasoned properly, but sometimes we can go overboard with this. And if you're not really aware, it's a lot of this, the little habits that you want to be aware of, little things that you can change. If you're aware that you're one of those over tasters, then think twice, because you can taste, you know, are you tasting or are you eating a small meal? You can eat the equivalent of a small meal if you keep repeatedly tasting.
Yes.
So, and then another thing, with the pandemic, you know, practically over now and things coming back to normal, and we've got these COVID masks. Well, you know, your COVID mask can come in handy, because if you're in the kitchen and you're wearing your COVID mask, you can't just pop food in your mouth. You will stop and think. You've got that barrier, like, wait a minute. So that can keep you from randomly nibbling while you're in the kitchen around all that food. You know, we tend to nibble here, nibble there.
Yes. Wow. All great and I mean, really simple, easy things that people can do. Whereas it's just, you know, it's almost like there's really no reason to try all these really, really simple things that are kind of no-brainers.
I would love to share my favorite tip.
Yes, go ahead.
This tip, this weight loss tip is so powerful, so effective, and so neglected because it's so simple. People think, oh no, when I talk to people about what I do and they go, oh, give me a tip. Right. And I say to them, drink a large glass of water before every meal or snack. And you know what they say, Maria? No, give me a real tip. Now, here's what studies have found. Multiple studies have found that if you change nothing else about what you're eating, you don't count a single calorie, don't skip a single dessert, don't give up any of your favorite foods. If all you do is drink a large glass of water before every meal or snack, depending on how much excess weight you have, by the end of the year, you will have lost anywhere between 12 and 20 pounds.
Wow. And
That's
just by drinking
completely
water.
effortless.
Yes,
Just
it is.
drinking a large glass of water before every meal is done. Who can't drink a glass of water?
And you know
An
what? It's
obese
good for
child
you
can
too.
drink a glass of water. If you're
Yes.
eating in a restaurant, you can drink a glass of water. If you're at
Yes.
home, if you're at work, if you're traveling, if you're on vacation, if you're dining out at a friend's place, a college student away at college,
Mhm.
anybody can, a senior citizen in an assisted living facility. Who
Yes.
can't drink a glass of water? How simple is that?
Yes, it is. It's a very,
And
very
yet people overlook it. Well, yeah, well, that's too simple. You know, how could that possibly have any effect?
yes, and
Well,
it
it
does.
does.
I
It's
know
a very
in my
powerful tip.
research, yeah, it is. I found that to be the truth, and I try to do that. I don't always do that, but I know that I try to do that because I heard that more than a few years ago, just
Yeah.
researching. Yes, so that's a really good, simple tip, and it's really good for you too, because drinking water is keeps you hydrated and helps you from
Mhm.
dehydrating, which people do and they don't realize it. So that's got an extra added benefit. But yeah, it's so simple. I think people don't want to think of it of losing weight as a simple thing. They
Yeah,
want
we've been
they
brainwashed to
programmed,
think, yeah.
right? Program, just like you were saying at the beginning, that people have been programmed to think that it's a difficult thing. So I
Mhm.
guess when you're giving them these simple tips, they're like, no, give me a real tip. It can't be that simple. So,
Yeah.
oh
And
my,
almost every chapter in Eat Smart and Lose Weight has at least one weight loss tip because it can help in so many ways. If you get that midnight snack attack, drink a glass of water and wait 5 minutes.
mhm.
Normally, cravings will pass in 5 minutes. So if you drink a glass of water, wait 5 minutes, you may find, well, gee, I don't want that snack after all. Do the same thing if you're tempted to have seconds.
Uh-huh.
Drink a glass of water before having sex and then wait a few minutes, chat with your dinner companions, but water, it's such a powerful tip for losing weight, and it's so overlooked, so neglected, and it's just so simple.
Wow, wow. Lots of really simple ideas, great ideas. So, Ruth, this book is coming out, you said, in the next couple of months?
It will be within the next couple of months. Like, you know what the delay is, Maria?
Uh-huh.
The research never stops on
Oh,
obesity, weight loss,
yes.
and weight maintenance, weight control, all those things. And I
Yes.
keep wanting to, because I'm staying on top of all of the studies, and I
I
keep
could,
wanting to say,
yes.
oh wait, let me hold it up. I want to add
Yes.
this. Oh, this study is going on. Let me wait for these results and
Yes.
see.
Yes.
And
Oh,
and
that's
so
interesting.
it's funny because one of my author friends said to me, you're gonna have to stop this. You're over researching. Version 1 is better
Right.
than version none. Just do it and then update it, but get it out there because people keep saying, well, where is it? We want it. We want it now.
Uh-huh. Sure, with all these interesting tips, I'm sure people are definitely wanting the book, but I could understand that because research is being done all the time and new things are coming out. But yeah, you're probably going to have to eventually release it and then maybe your version 1, and then exactly do an update, your second version.
Yeah,
Once you get some more, because research is always being done, on losing weight. It's such a hot topic.
it
That's great.
is.
So, Ruth, where can people find you? And I know you have another book coming up. Did you want to mention that other book that you're going to
That
start
one's
working?
going to be a little bit longer, but I'm in the middle now of working on a book on cruise ship food. Actually, I was working on it before the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
and
Yes.
eating my way off through the Caribbean on cruise ship. I also do cruise ship food lectures for a
Oh,
couple of the
wow.
cruise lines.
Uh-huh.
But I was in the midst of that when they shut down, when the pandemic shut down the cruise
The
industry. So
cruise.
now I'm in the process of revisiting that information, and that will be out a little later. As a matter of fact, I just got back from a 2-week cruise. I'm on the West Coast right now, but
Uh-huh.
and I'm about to do another 10-day cruise just to
Uh-huh.
kind of update. I want to see what measures they've put in place post-pandemic. There have been a number of changes, but that's another situation where people think, oh, well, I'm going on a cruise, I know I'm going to gain weight. You don't have to gain weight on a cruise. As a matter of fact, you can lose weight on a cruise. As a matter of fact, the cruise the first week of the 2-week cruise that I just finished, I went with my sister and nephew, and my sister actually lost 3 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
So, and surrounded with all that food and the constant eating, she lost 3 pounds.
Oh wow.
So, it's possible. People think that it can't be done, but it can be. It can be. So I just want to see what new things are being instituted.
Well, that'll definitely be an interesting book. As I mentioned, I know a lot of people that do cruising, so I'm sure there will be a lot of interest on that too. So Ruth, where can people find you and more information for when the book comes out?
Okay, eatsmartloseweightbook.com. eatsmartloseweightbook.com. On that, at the top of the website, there's a link. I keep a rotating selection of tip sheets. I think the one I have for March and April is 8 ways to trick yourself into eating less food.
There you
go.
So
it's a free tip sheet. They can sign up for it, and they can also sign up for the weight loss, the Eat Smart newsletter, where I just send out one tip every week. But up until the time, I may continue it after the book is out, but people are so anxious for these tips that I'm just kind of leaking them out one by one weekly in a newsletter. Just nothing that's going to take up a lot of time to read.
Exactly. That's great. Yes, it's an easy thing to read in a newsletter. That's great, Ruth. Well, Ruth, thank you so much. And I forgot to mention that I especially wanted to have on this whole month because it's International Women's Month. So women that are doing remarkable and very interesting things. And Ruth is one of those. So she's on today because of, we have one more week in March. So, but I've been having on especially women this month that are doing remarkable and exciting projects. So thank you so much for being here during this month. And much success with your book. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you. Definitely reach out when your cruise ship book comes out.
Oh, I will. Absolutely.
Hear a lot about that. Great. All right, Ruth. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show. And thanks to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's special guest, Ruth Houston. And just a reminder that I will be doing a 4-course Italian-themed wine pairing dinner at the Ridgewood Winery in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania. And you can register for this event on eventbrite.com. But for my podcast listeners, if you enter food and wine and the number 5, when you register, you'll get a special discount for the event. And registration is limited, so register as soon as you can. That's eventbrite.com. And if you have any questions on the event, you can email me at info@marialiberati.com. And also, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm excited that the Maria Liberati Show will be doing a live broadcast from the Phil Italia International. It's actually their biannual convention for Phil Italia, which is an organization that promotes Italian culture and heritage throughout the world. And they happen to be based in Philadelphia. And I will be doing a live broadcast at their biannual convention, which will be at the Overbrook Golf Club in Villanova, Pennsylvania. There will be some great food to be had, and I will be interviewing a lot of leaders in the business and civic community that are involved with this great organization So if you'd like to come out and join us, go to the Philitalia website and you can find everything you need to know about this April 30th event. You can also find out more about the organization. They do some great, really wonderful things. They have an interesting project that is coming up that will be virtual Italian classes. So I know lots of people want to learn how to speak Italian, and you can do it virtually. So that's one of the amazing projects they have coming up, but they have lots and lots of very interesting things coming up. So if you can join us on April 30th, please come out and join us, or, just listen to the broadcast. That's April 30th. And as always, you can find me at marialiberati.com. You can find my award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, on Amazon and Kindle, and at marialiberati.com, and at artoflivingprimamedia.com. And you can also find me on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Twitter at Maria Liberati, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati, on the YouTube channel. We have a new YouTube channel. Wow. With the same name as the show, The Maria Liberati Show. So many of my guests that I did video interviews with, you can see the video on YouTube for the Maria Liberati Show. And also my Roku channel, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati. And as always, until next week, peace, love, and pasta.